Hey, my music people. Do you like old vinyl records? Do you like music that maybe is a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll? Then here's the show for you. Welcome, everybody, to Dustin's Vinyl with your hosts, Dustin Chafin and Anthony Kapfer. Yay! That almost worked, except I was my voiceover was a little faint. But you know what? We're getting closer. Jay has been he's been trying to get this right for over a year now, and we're getting close. I feel like 2022 is going to be the year we have the right intro. Because that's all it takes. A year into a show, you need about a year to get the intro right.
That's when you start figuring it out.
Yeah, I mean, some shows the
2 years to get the outro.
The outro? Yeah. Well, are you kidding me? We're going to do this till as long as we can, until, Jay can't afford to keep the lights on. And then we do like a whole Electric 2, Breaking 2, Electric 2 Boogaloo or whatever that show is, where they have to like raise money for the rec center. We'll just be doing GoFundMes for ComedyHub. Just trying to keep it alive. Keep it alive.
Did they break dance to raise the money? Is that what it was?
Of course they did, dude. It's breaking.
Breaking 2.
What did they do? The tango? Like they did breakdancing. I actually met one of those guys like when I was in LA years ago, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Turbo," and I go, "What?" "Oh yeah," because Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo, and I was like, "Of course."
Turbo.
And, that guy is like a renowned dancer. Like he's like phenomenal break dancer, and he's never called himself a phenomenal dancer, unlike our co-host who's coming up shortly. That guy has made a lot of money dancing, and he would never say, "I'm a phenomenal dancer," ever. That's the dance code.
You don't have the confidence.
Hey, don't be coming in right now. This is my time. We have structure on this show. You can shit on me when I bring you in. That's how it works. Jeff, my God. All right. Anyway. Anthony, how you been? You have a good week. We did the show yesterday. That was exciting.
Yeah.
A little stand-up comedy.
It was great.
Yeah. I flipped out, which is funny. I think that's kind of my angle on these Twitch shows is just
you just lose your mind.
Yeah, I flip out. That's kind of my shtick. And it was hilarious. Wasn't it funny? It's a guy tried to fuck with me, and then I just muted him as he was trying to like keep going, and it was just so funny. Yeah. I think Howard Stern did that to Dice one time. He Dice was going off.
Oh,
and
really?
He just turned his mic off or something. And Dice is like flipping out, and his mic was off. It's so funny.
So it was great. Yeah, because the guy was like trying to, he's trying to get slick.
Yeah,
and then he said something, and he goes, "Hey, this is my time," and you're like, "Actually, it's not." And then you muted him, but he's still going through the motions,
it's
doing his
really,
act outs.
It's one of the few moments of power one has on a Zoom show. Is the old when you're the host, you can mute everybody. So Jeff, watch yourself. All right, so
and I get to do this just whenever I feel it's appropriate.
Yeah,
and that's a pretty good power to have.
That is power. I mean, music. Power is good. Music is power. That's the theme of the show, and we have nothing else to do with our time. So we have the show. Fun. I'm excited to be back. We had a couple nights off. Jeff was big timing. I was, just watching
also
a lot of bad.
Timing.
Not really. I was just watching a lot of bad reality TV. Well, last week it was Adam who was big timing, and Jeff usually has like a fire hall, and then Adam has like some high end tech job, and so I usually have a check spot at some bar show in LA, so that's about as big time as I am.
And I'm always just here,
and you're there, you're the guitar guy. It's been cool. I just went to a record store. It was fun. I did sifting through vinyl again. It was fun. Today we're gonna we're a little off on time. We're gonna do the whole month was instrumentals. We're still gonna do one instrumental with Jeff next week. And so I pulled a couple, instrumental stuff that I have. I think I have probably more instrumental than I have rock and stuff. But the first one is, I've talked about him a few times. I've shared a few albums. This is Don Shirley, Dr. Don Shirley. If you saw the movie The Green Book, this is the guy that it was, kind of after saw that, whatever, was about him. And, he was a classically trained pianist, and he, basically, he couldn't really get his name out there because of racism and things like that. And so, he experimented in jazz. If you watch the movie, it's kind of great. It's almost reluctantly like he becomes kind of into this jazz world. But, his live concerts are really fantastic. And he does like a lot of covers. This one has George on My Mind, which is one of my favorite Ray Charles songs.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of Beatles. He does Yesterday on this, which I'm a big fan of instrumental stuff. Of songs that are usually, lyrical songs, but just the instrumentals. I love that. Like when somebody does Pink Floyd with no words, and somebody does, I just love that kind of stuff because it just makes you appreciate the music part of it. Because sometimes you get lost in the lyrical part and you forget how great the music is. And so this is a really cool album. So anything live, Don Shirley in concert live is cool. And since we're staying on instrumental, I know I'm going to lose the co-host, wonderful Jeff, on this one because I know he hates all things fantasy. But this is the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. But this is not.
Is good,
this is not. This is not the. Stop it! Stop being rude. That's a horrible etiquette you have, Jeff. This is actually from the movie Ralph Bakshi, who did Fritz the Cat. He did Cool World, which is a phenomenal movie. And this is a really cool, dark animated film. I actually have the VHS. Look at that.
It's not the movies.
This is the animated version, and it's fantastic. It's bloody. It's gory. It's really cool. And Ralph Bakshi, I think his name is Bakshi. I always mess his name up. But I don't know if you saw Cool World. That was probably one most people saw.
Is that with the cats?
Well, Fritz the Cat is like his original thing that he did.
Cool
it's kind
World
of this
didn't have
X-rated
cats?
cat. It probably had cats in it, but it was Brad Pitt, and it was kind of like a Roger Rabbit kind of movie where it's like a regular guy. And it's like
I'm getting it confused with the Paula Abdul music video, I think. But that was also similar with the anime.
Okay, you could have kept that to yourself, but that's cool. But just kidding. I'm kidding. Fritz the Cat with Paula Abdul. Paula Abdul should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know why Paula Abdul's not in the Hall of Fame. I'm kidding.
Underrated.
Paula Abdul. She's crazy. She drinks a lot. She dated Arsenio Hall. Did you know that? She did. We're just going to talk about Paula Abdul today. I know you're talking about I forget the song. Jeff will know it. He likes that stuff.
Yeah, but it's got animation and live action, just like Roger Rabbit.
Okay, well, if you've never seen Cool World, it's a fantastic movie. It's really dark and cool. And this guy's is known for his dark animation and stuff. So, and the composer of this is Leonard Rosenman, who did Rebel Without a Cause. He did East of Eden. He also did one of the Star Treks and RoboCop. So quite a spectrum of kind of musical stuff that he does, and a really cool composer. And this is a really cool, like if you like, kind of classical music, but kind of on the dark, kind of experimental side. This is a really cool soundtrack. And it's not, even if you don't like the movie or the story or the whatever, you hate Star Wars or whatever it is, this is a great piece of music. And it's a double album. It's got some really cool kind of, animated stuff. And this is kind of one of the reasons I like vinyl records, because you can open it up.
Yeah, the artwork. Yeah, it's so cool.
The artwork is so cool. This is a great find. I found this in Dallas somewhere, some record store. And so, yeah, it was cool. So there's, you can find a lot of cool stuff. We've talked a lot about soundtracks. There's a great place to find some instrumental music. I feel, if you're looking for instrumental stuff. I asked the Twitchers, what was some of their favorite instrumental stuff. Someone had said, let's see, we have Phoenix Feathers 420 said, I think the only one I had instrumental was from the Matrix movie. And that sounds amazing. I've never just heard that music by itself. I was obviously the movie, and the new movie's coming out, which looks phenomenal. I love I love Keanu Reeves. You know what I mean? He's like 78 and he looks 32. You know what I mean? Like, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, he looks younger than me.
He does. Well, it's like, it's that's what happens when you're happy. But you have millions of dollars and you get to be in all these movies. But that's, that's a cool. I mean, I'm going to check that out immediately. Thank you for that. Because I think but that's the thing. You don't think to listen to a soundtrack from a movie sometimes, you just like, unless it's something like Tarantino or something where it's like, it's all lyrical stuff or, even that.
Oh yeah. Like all these old songs that you
old
didn't
songs.
know
I mean,
before,
some surf rock and stuff. It got me into Dick Dale, so that's one great thing about that. So movies sometimes are great because you'll zero in. I think Jeff, or was it Jeff? It might've been Adam who recommended Babyface or something. Baby, I don't know, one of those baby movies. And it was like really cool soundtrack. And I got a bunch of pieces of, from different people on that soundtrack. Anyway, big fan of the soundtrack. We've talked a lot about soundtracks here, and let's see who else says anything. What's up, party people? It was perfect. Looking for more soundtracks. Okay, that's it. All right, we're going to start the show. I feel like we've done enough babble up top. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited. You might have heard him interrupt earlier, which he knows I love that. And he's fantastic. He's been in the music industry for years, a very hilarious comedian. And then we also, ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Jeffrey Paul, everybody.
Oh, hello, everybody.
And then our other co-host, we have 3 co-hosts on this show. Very funny. He's done a lot of really cool things in the music industry and has quite a vinyl collection himself. Please give it up for Adam Holtz, everybody. Adam Holtz.
Hey, guys.
We're all here. The band's back together. The band is here. Jeff was about to have an aneurysm when I started talking about Lord of the Rings. They were going to lose it.
No. Listen, that's what you like. That's what you like. Not for me.
Do you know who Ralph Baskey is? Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I saw a Cool World, and the song that you were thinking about with Paul Abdul is Opposites Attract.
Opposites Attract.
And the cat, and then the cat is DJ Scat Cat.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Of course you know that, Jeff. Yeah. Of course you know that. Pat Benatar. Of course I know that. A Pat Benatar fan would know some Paul Abdul information. That kind of goes hand in hand.
She better get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year.
Paul Abdul? Oh, my God.
Pat Benatar.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you're campaigning for Paul, didn't it just happen?
I think it just happened.
Yeah, right, but next month they come out with the nominees.
Oh, the nominees just came out. Okay.
Right, well, they come out next month.
So they nominate, and then you have to be chosen. Like that. That's correct. Like not every. It's like the Grammys. Okay, is it like that kind of thing?
Right. Like you have. It's like first they put out a bunch of names. Several get picked, and then they vote on like a few who get in. Now with the Go-Go's getting in this year, they made a big push, and there seems to be a big movement about more women inclusion into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay. And I don't know how you have a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame without Pat Benatar.
Jeffrey spearheading the Pat Benatar movement.
I feel sorry for you, Adam, because Jeff has another show, and all he hears is Pat Benatar. It's just like Jeff brings.
We will get her on the show.
Yeah, she's available for sure.
Until she gets in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I think she's an easy get. I could get her. I know a guy that dated her. If you really want her, I'll get her for you because I think it would make you happy.
She's still performing, and she still sounds great.
Okay, I'll get her for you. The guy, my friend, he dated her for like 7 years. Like I can get her for you. Yeah, just get a Venmo or like $6 and you can get her. That's all it takes for about.
You just have to hit her with your best shot.
Love is a battlefield.
I don't know how it goes. Something
almost.
Like that.
Hey, you almost. That's all right.
Hell is for children.
Whatever it is.
You're halfway there. You're into it.
You know what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to do. Yeah, well, one thing that's very amazing is probably, I have like, a few best friends. A couple of them are here today. And, in comedy. And one of my top best friends, I don't know how to say that, but I guess one of my top 5 best friends of all time in comedy, Nate Bargatze, was nominated for a Grammy. And that's awesome. So cool. I'm opening for him on Friday. We'll be in Pittsburgh.
Nice. At the Improv?
No, we'll
theater.
Be at big, huge theater. Yeah. So yeah, it's very exciting to have a friend that's nominated for a Grammy. So it's pretty cool, and I get to work with him, and it's fun. So today we're keeping on the theme of instrumental stuff, and so it was Adam's turn this week. And I'm not quite sure what I listened to, but I think it was good. I think it was interesting. I think it was groovy. And Adam, take it away, buddy. What do we got?
All right. So we are today we're going to be talking about Josh Davis, aka DJ Shadow's Introducing, which actually came out 25 years ago in 96.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. It's a so Dustin, up top, you're talking about sifting through records at a record store, and so DJ Shadow created this entire album by doing that, by just going through rare records, pulling albums from their basement, all these obscure vinyl records, and just using a few pieces of equipment ends up creating this landmark album. It's a benchmark. It's considered one of the first instrumental hip hop albums. It's a trip hop album too. It's a giant electronic symphony. It's pretty much genreless. I mean, there's bits of jazz, funk, rock, just there's soul, R&B. There's so much going on in this album. It's actually in the Guinness Book of World Records has this as the first completely sampled album. Back in they declared that in 2001. There really hasn't been an album that's, I mean, at least for the time, it's been different. There's been a lot of sampled albums now. This is still, considered one of the most influential albums of, coming out of the 90s. It's been on, so Time has it as one of the top 100 albums of all time.
Oh, wow.
Rolling Stone has it as the 329th greatest album of all time.
Oh, wow.
And it influenced one of my favorite bands, Radiohead. Without this album, Radiohead said they probably, wouldn't have had some, especially Airbag on OK Computer. The sound might have been completely different on there. But this also is a kind of like a love letter to vinyl culture, this album. And Very cool. He says it right there in the liner notes. This album reflects a lifetime of vinyl culture. It was, finding life in kind of a pile of broken dreams. So he's pulling a lot of obscure vinyl, creating this incredible musical landscape, soundscape, and it's really it's very moody. There's a lot of mood music. It's inspired by hip hop. It falls into, I guess, the electronic genre, but it's really, in some interviews I've seen with him, he says that he would take the album from the electronic area and move it over to the hip hop area. And I mean, it just like a hip hop album, it has interludes. It, it's partially sounds like a concept album also. And it's, it's something that's very unique. And I don't know, especially for the time. And it just seems like it's something that hasn't really been matched too much since then. But yeah, I mean, this is it's an incredible album. And I mean, what do you guys think of it?
Part of me wonders if this is what ruined music, because wow. Because so many people sampled, music instead of playing their music. But then the more you listen to it, you understand the genius of something like this, where it is difficult to, recreate and sample, and it expands something and make it, this other thing. And so, yeah, no, I'm just playing around, but it's definitely, it was cool. It's, I didn't listen to it enough. I wish I had. This is definitely something I want to keep listening to. It definitely does not sound like it was 25 years ago. I mean, you could play this right now. It sounds very current. It sounds very of the time. It sounds like something you would throw in at a party. It would still, everybody be into it. Like, it doesn't, a lot of music like Run DMC and stuff is great, but it still sounds like of that time. So something like this with the added effect of all the stuff, I feel like it kind of gives it kind of a futuristic kind of current sound. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I like anything that's different. I like Daft Punk and all that stuff. So anything that's a little different, I enjoy it. I don't, is it something I'm going to, I wouldn't mind owning it on vinyl. And I love the idea. I didn't even know that background, like the way you were talking about sifting through the records and like kind of an homage to record stores and stuff, and finding, because I do love that, finding new music and kind of appreciating and embracing it. So this is cool, man. I think it's definitely, I want to reach out, seek out more of, stuff that he, had done, So is he still composing and stuff, or sampling?
Yeah, but I was just right before this, I was watching an interview he had done for the 25th anniversary this year. And he said, there's most people know him just for this work. And he said there's a lot of people that have only listened to him for just this work. They haven't listened to his stuff before or after. And he's actually one of the producers for the Grand Theft Auto 5 soundtrack.
Oh, so cool.
And he had worked with so he'd actually, and I have a whole list in front of me of samples that he used on each of the songs. One of the songs he used Changeling, he used Tangerine Dream on. And he worked with Tangerine Dream on the Grand Theft Auto 5 soundtrack also. But yeah, he's still producing. He the whole name DJ Shadow was to kind of step back and let the music be at the forefront. He didn't want to be, he's a very humble guy. Like, he really didn't want to kind of stand out.
So how's he making this music? So is it kind of like a Vangelis thing? He's got like the keyboards and all the equipment.
It's basically 3 pieces of equipment that he used, and primarily, so he had a Technics turntable, that he would have going into a I think it's called a AK MPC60 sampler, which is just a whole mobile sampling station.
Okay.
And it's become it's become big in hip hop. Kanye West, I think, was using it for the College Dropout, and so he's doing this analog into digital, and then I think from there he was recording onto a DAT tape recorder, and then I think he had an early Pro Tools setup, so it was very, very minimal. I mean, this stuff I think you could do a lot easier. Obviously, you could do it a lot easier now, but
yeah. Did he have to pay rights to these people or no? Did he sample? Is it like one of those rules? Under 30, nobody had. Is it kind of one of those things? Is that what it is?
I'm not even sure, because he's got some big. A lot of the stuff he sampled was pretty obscure, but he does have Pink Floyd in there. He has Metallica in there. He has Bjork in there, so he had some pretty big artists.
Which one's the Metallica? Do you know? Is that?
Yeah, it's wasn't the Number Song.
Oh, the Number Song. That's like the second track. Okay, great. Third track. Yeah, very cool. Anthony, talk to me.
I liked it. It reminded me of a few things. The stuff that was more straight ahead hip hop sounded kind of like the first Wu-Tang Clan album, or like Nas Illmatic, stuff like that. That kind of production, and then the stuff that was like more, I don't know what electro or whatever, kind of reminded me like of the Chemical Brothers and like even Fatboy Slim and stuff like that. So I liked it a lot. It was, it doesn't, to me it does sound 90s. Like, it sounds like all the stuff from the 90s, like that, early hip hop and whatever, but I don't think it sounds dated. It's like, it sounds, I can recognize that it's from that time, but it doesn't sound outdated. It still sounds very fresh, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if you maybe you didn't know the music of that time, you probably, you
might not know.
Think it was fresh,
Yeah.
It's like, I'm wearing a stretch shirt. It's the same kind of thing. It's like, if you, kids that probably like this band, maybe they're not as into the bands that influenced the band, it's like, they just don't know. They just, oh, this is good music, but they don't realize where it came from. But very cool. All right, here we go. Contestant number 4. Hey, what do you got, Jeff? Hey.
All right, so
here we go.
He's got a list.
On. What do you got?
A list of problems.
Oh, okay.
No, interesting. Don't assume.
No.
Don't assume. No. I was surprised this album came out in the 90s. I don't know if I'm classifying this as hip hop. It didn't seem very danceable to me. A lot of it seemed like music that you would use as a bed, for TV or a movie. I definitely caught a little Tears for Fears in there, sowing the seeds of love. But it wasn't like a chorus or a verse part. It was just like, in that song, there are it's almost like 3 different songs, and they took, like you said, Adam, a very obscure part of the song, and I kept hearing it, and I went back and replayed it, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely this break in that song. It's a long album too. I mean, I think it came in at over an hour. But it was something that you could, like get lost in. Like, I think I hit the group up earlier in the week. Just refreshed me on what album we're listening to, and Dustin made a joke. Hey, drop some Molly before you listen to it. Okay, and
I know Jeff. Yeah,
and at first I'm thinking that's a joke. No, that was a real suggestion. Because that would have been, but I
think all music is a little better with Molly. I think that's.
It's something that I don't know if I would go see it in concert, but if you put it in the background and you're doing something else, that's what it kind of is to me. I wanted to also digress for a second, and what I really liked, I didn't get a chance to comment on Anthony's pick. I thought that to me was something I'd want to see more of. Shadowy Men on Shadowy Planet. Every track I kept listening to that I loved. This is kind of not weird, but it's different. It's different. Like Number Song was definitely, I think, the standout track. That Changeling was kind of long. I think the Tears for Fears song was in Midnight in a Perfect World.
Oh yeah, that was one of the. I think that was the single of this album too.
Okay, was it? All right. Yeah, I don't remember this when this came out, and I'm surprised it's ranked as high as it is on Billboard. But I don't always agree with what Billboard says anyway. But I guess technically, this is a very innovative album, especially for the time and the way it's composed. But musically, I mean, is he, like Dustin says, he's not playing any of the instruments on this? He's not playing, like in the first, I think it was the first track, where it was that big piano buildup, and it's a lot of repetition as well.
Yeah.
He's not playing that piano? That's all sampled?
All samples. It also took him about 2 years to create this album. And he talked about how, I guess he started this album around 93, 94. By the time, so around then you had gangster rap. You had, he said by the time this came out, the whole hip hop landscape had kind of changed over. It was getting a little bit more poppy. It was getting a little bit more mainstream. And that's where you had that one song on the album. Forget
something about why hip hop sucks.
Why hip hop sucks in '96. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also
pretty ballsy Brain, which was pretty long.
Yeah, that listening to that song, you could hear kind of the genesis of Radiohead's Kid A right in that song. There's a lot of little samples that you start picking out, and you're like, oh, I see. I heard this in Kid A. They expanded on it a bit, but the album also has a sort of West Coast vibe, especially since he's from Sacramento. He actually recorded, I think he went out to the UK. He put this on Mowax Records in the UK. It became much bigger out there than I think it hit around here maybe about 6 months after, but it became huge in the UK.
Well, there was all that dance music coming out, all of the.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty weird that Jeff, being a phenomenal dancer, saying that it was undanceable, because I feel like if you're a phenomenal dancer, you can dance to anything.
Oh, listen, I could turn chopped meat into the steak. Okay,
this is dance music, dude. This is club music.
No,
this is definitely club music, man. This is sexy. This is dancey. You would hear this in a club. Maybe somebody would work it with another album, but you could definitely dance. This is definitely dance music. That's what I got from it.
What song was a dance song for you?
I thought all of it was. I thought all of it had a dance groove.
I didn't think so. I didn't get that. I was trying to think what song could just break out here, and I didn't see it.
Changling, I thought was good.
Well, it definitely reminded me of like the stuff that sounded like the Chemical Brothers on this album. That was dance music.
Yeah,
that was coming out of clubs.
But if you're saying it's Chemical Brothers, and you also say it kind of sounds like Radiohead. Radiohead isn't really dance music either.
Well, maybe not every section from every single song.
Depends how you dance, dude. Have you ever been on heroin? I mean, and just tried to dance? That's how you dance to Radiohead.
The way Tom York, give us a little demonstration, Tom York.
Kind of lean back and kind of fall over and then you get back up. Yeah. Adam, you really love Radiohead. I feel like that's your go-to kind of, your band. Like that's, what is it about Radiohead that attracts people so much? Because I feel like it's a generational thing. It's definitely like, I like them. Creep's great, whatever. I've heard some songs. I love their Rhinestone Cowboy. I think it's very haunting and cool. I just don't, it's what is it that makes them like such a kind of a cult band for you? Like,
well, I think it's
people attracted to it.
I think it's part of it's the kind of creative exploration, the art rock, they originally it was that feeling that I was before them. I was really big into Pink Floyd, so to me they seemed like more of an sort of. I mean, they started out more as a U2 type band, but they started to drift off into more of like the Pink Floyd kind of territory. It just seemed like a more natural extension. And then when I heard OK Computer, I was just completely blown away. And then of course they take this massive left turn with Kid A. And it's just the music feels both now, but also feels like it could be music of the future too.
Adam, did you like get that? A little bit of a Beastie Boys vibe in this album? Like remember like the second Beastie Boys album, Paul's Boutique?
Yeah, that's one of the comparisons. And they actually use they use a Beastie Boys sample in this too, in the opening track, which is Best Foot Forward. Towards the end of it, there's a Beastie Boys sample in there.
I had a funny moment. I was working with Nate and we were doing a theater here in LA and it was like, there was some high end people that were kind of hanging out and stuff. And one guy was like, he was like, yeah, I'm a musician. And we were like, yeah, cool. And then my friend Nick, his wife, was like talking to him and stuff. And he was like, we're all hanging out. It's like a VIP thing. And then she's like, so what kind of music do you do? And he goes, I'm the lead singer and guitarist of Tool.
Oh, wow.
Wow. It was Maynard.
It was Maynard James Keenan. It's like, and none of us knew, like, because they never have their pictures on their albums. It's always this crazy artwork. And so it's funny. It was kind of this thing where it was like, we all fucking love Tool, but nobody knows what they look like unless you go to the concerts all the time. But it was just really funny because she was kind of saying like, oh, do you do weddings? And so, so what do you do? And it was just really funny that it ended up being him. And then afterwards they're like, shit, well, how did you not tell us? And we were like, we tried to go back and find him and stuff, but it was really funny. It was just, we love you. It was like, we don't know what you look like till now, but But that's it. That's another band that's kind of like Radiohead to me. It's like they have a cult following and their fans are just so dedicated, and it's like this kind of broody music. And I think at a certain point in your life, you lock onto this kind of music. What was I going to say? Originally when sampled music came out, when a lot of hip hop was, kind of, it's funny, the first, thing that comes to mind when I think of sampled music is Vanilla Ice. And I remember Ice Baby, it kind of has that Bowie riff and you're just...
it's different.
Yeah. What?
It's different.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah, because Under Pressure was dum bum 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 bum, and mine is bum 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 bum.
Okay, well, yeah, but okay, yeah, I'm sure he defended it or whatever, but it was, but yeah, I felt like that was the first time we started, for me, started kind of noticing things, and then, and then hip hop really took it in, and I passed him and started, kind of just doing these things where it's like, you'd hear like Puff Daddy would do like parts of Every Breath You Take, like he would sample the thing and did they would, that's actually I guess technically a cover, and so I don't know, it was just kind of these things. I felt like I fought it for a long time, and I always felt like it was cheap. I always felt like who couldn't do that, and who couldn't just like take a piece, and I had a hard time with hip hop for a while because I always felt like it was even Run DMC did shit like that. So it's like there were, I felt like it was one of these things where it's like, it took me a long time to get to the place where I could appreciate, someone sampling music and adding another element to it, and something like this is kind of, it's a full exploration of it. So I feel like it kind of made me kind of understand that there is some art to it. When you're just when you're
I think
let me finish my point and then you can go. That's how it works here. But yeah, I just feel like that's anyway. Go ahead. Interrupters. Go ahead. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead, Anthony. You're up.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Okay.
Well, it's it's respect. But yes, go ahead.
I think this could have been one of the last albums made where it was possible to sample this much.
Yeah.
Because it was, Paul's Boutique had a ton of samples. This had a ton of samples. And you mentioned that Puff Daddy song. I have a feeling when hip hop took that turn where it was just like one song, like you said, it was a cover. I think it was because the laws had changed or there were new laws that, where the artist who was sampling had to pay for or clear every sample. So an album like this
led that, Anthony. I think Metallica led that charge about taking music, not only with Napster.
Well, this was before the Napster thing. Oh,
right. But not only with Napster, but also it's taking music and sampling it without giving anybody credit. Also, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Rick James have a hard time with MC Hammer's Can't Touch This? Because that's basically super free.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but they don't need permission from MC Hammer. They go through the record label.
MC Hammer needed permission from Rick
MC Hammer
James.
doesn't need Rick James. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, whoever owns the rights of the song.
Yeah, but it's not Rick James. It would be the record label.
Well, I thought it was like a 20-second rule or something. Like it was if it was just 15 seconds or 3 seconds or that's what people were saying. In the beginning of all of it. Whereas it's like as long as it's under a certain time.
Well, the Beastie Boys were in a lawsuit for like 10 years over like a 3-second flute sample in a song. So
oh wow.
That was around the time that this came out. So I think that you probably can't make an album like this now.
Yeah.
It would have to be a mixtape. You can release it commercially, I don't think.
Mixtape on cassette?
No, the rappers and hip hop artists and stuff, they do mixtapes. It's just like...
Yeah, they're always on Hollywood Boulevard. They're always trying to sell me one.
Yeah.
I got my
blank,
mixtape. Very cool. Yeah, it's just another way to do, to do music, I guess. Just kind of, and I think this is a cool one. Yeah, I don't know. What's do you guys have favorite songs that sampled music? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you take like Pink Floyd. I mean, they didn't, feel like, their stuff was, a lot of sound effects. Maybe somebody had the rights to that cash register. Maybe somebody. I would, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I guess sound effects, somebody could just, there's no rules with that. So plenty of sound effects in your album, I think is probably a good idea.
What's also interesting on this album too is in the song Long Stem, where it was the second part of the stem, Long Stem song. They use a bit from comedian Murray Roman. So that whole thing about parking tickets during that whole like really kind of trippy, it's the start of that second part right there.
Well, Tool, actually, don't they do some Bill Hicks?
I was going to bring that up.
One of their albums.
But I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah. Dude, don't be like that. It's just like, it's podcast etiquette, bro. It's podcast etiquette. It's wait your turn and talk. Well, why do I have to keep stressing that? Right? Come on, dude. You know better. You have a show on Mondays. If somebody did that, you would go live it. Great. Now Anthony hates me. All right. Now I only have 2 friends in comedy. All right. I used to have more. Whatever. It's better for editing. That's all. I'm trying to make Adam's life easier. So when he puts this up in 2024.
Right.
Well,
for the 30th anniversary of this album.
Yeah. It's for the listeners, Anthony. Don't take it personal. It's for the listeners.
No, I'm fine.
You gonna mope? You gonna mope now? Is that what's happening?
No, I'm not. Am I moping?
That's classic moping.
That's a little moping right there.
In what way?
Jeff has a teenager. He knows that's moping.
In a moping kind of way. In the only way it could be moping.
All right.
You're a mopa.
You're a mopa. You're a mopa.
You're from the moping region.
Now it's just getting weird. Now he's not going to talk to any of us. All right. So I try to put out there what people's favorite songs that has sampled music in it. And that was a question I tried to get out there. I don't know if you guys have one that has like a favorite sampled music. I don't know. I don't know. I guess a lot of hip hop.
Puff Daddy's song is pretty good.
Yeah. Is it pretty good? Really? That's your go-to?
I'm not a big fan of sampled music.
Well, you're a fan of hip hop.
I like hip hop, but I mean, I guess like when the song is completely. I mean, they're really not even changing anything, and they're just removing the vocal track and putting another vocal track in. Like at least Run DMC and some of these other groups, Public Enemy would change the arrangement a little bit, or they sample parts. I mean, the Puff Daddy song is completely, every breath you take, but it still sounds good, still works.
Yeah, I guess the hook is like something good.
But that's when I believe that's when that trend started to take over, was when you couldn't use sampling as like an instrument anymore. You just had to pick one or two songs and, you'd grab the hook, because why not? If you're paying for popular song from 10 years ago or 15 years ago, you're going to take the hook. And I think that ruined the art of sampling, because you don't have albums like this coming out anymore.
So I guess you kids have to learn how to play instruments. Maybe that's got to be like Anthony.
Another good one is the Kid Rock song that he samples. Is basically all of Metallica's "Sad But True."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Except it's Kid Rock.
Okay,
Anthony, why surprise you don't like Kid Rock?
I have a love-hate with Kid Rock.
Shit. Didn't see that one coming.
I think, I'm sure we liked Kid Rock at some point in our life. And then once he started talking, you're like, okay. Kid
Have
Rock,
you seen the new Kid Rock song?
I have. It's very funny. And it's ridiculous how funny it is.
Exactly.
Because that's the problem with the left. I'm trying to find. I was actually going to hit you up, Anthony. I think we should. Did you see that Kid Rock video?
Yeah.
It's
one of the dumbest videos.
We should do a parody of it. Like, you play the guitar guy, I'll play Kid Rock, and we'll just make fun of because the left needs to be harder, and the left needs to make fun of stuff a little bit more. And so, I think we could do it. We just make fun of people and whatever. It could be hilarious. We'll try. I bet we could pull that off.
Yeah, I'll watch it again. All right. It looked like it was all green screen. He's riding the big middle finger.
Yeah, we'll just do it. I think it'd be really funny. We'll make it about kindness or something funny. If you're still talking to me, we should do that. It could be a lot of fun.
Well, if it's my turn, I'm talking to you.
I love you guys. I just have madness. I know how to do this. All right. So we're going to close it out with Anthony, because I feel like he deserves some time. So Anthony, why don't you play us out a song? We're going to go a little short today, because, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? So. Well, this song's instrumental.
Okay.
And there's not a lot of instrumental comedy songs, but this one is.
Okay, keep going.
This song is instrumental. That's exactly why I'm singing right now, about how it's so essential. Because the song is not instrumental in the sense that there are no words. It's instrumental in the sense that it's important. It's monumental. This song comes after the last one and the one that's before it. It goes right before the next song and the song that's after that. 'Cause the song is not instrumental. You cannot remove a single one without compromising the integrity of the track listing. So listen to me sing. This song is instrumental. This song is instrumental.
Yeah. See how good you are when you wait your turn. I take a bullet for you, Anthony. God damn it. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching the show. It was a lot of fun. And one last thing, somebody said Run DMC had some of the best sampled stuff. And yeah, Walk This Way, forget it. That was literally kind of incorporated the band with the song. So that doesn't even, you know what I mean? That feels like that wasn't even sampled.
They re-recorded that.
Yeah. So
well, they were sampling it, and when they were going to release it, they got Aerosmith to do it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool when you're just like, let's just get the real people.
Yeah, let's not use the record.
Yeah, that's Rick Rubin for you.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you, and keep listening, supporting us. Support us on our podcast. We are on Spotify and Amazon Music, and we're trying to get more listeners for that. And just get the word out. And thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Woo, rock and roll. Play us out, Anthony.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.